At 70 years old, Kevin Costner stands at the edge of a cliff he built with his own hands. The man who once held 7 Oscars for Dances with Wolves, who commanded $1.3 million per episode on television's biggest drama, who built an empire worth over $250 million, is now staring into an abyss of his own making. Reports from inside Hollywood paint a devastating picture: financial ruin, a passion project that drained his fortune, a marriage shattered after 19 years, and a legendary TV role that ended not with glory, but with lawyers, accusations, and a character's off-screen demise that shocked the world. This isn't just another celebrity stumble. This is the complete collapse of a man who refused to play it safe, who bet everything on a dream nobody else believed in, and who may have just lost the most expensive gamble in Hollywood history. The boy from Linwood, California, who once scraped by on hope and hunger, now faces something far more terrifying than poverty. He faces the possibility that everything he built, everything he sacrificed, might crumble to dust before his eyes. If Kevin Costner's journey has ever inspired you, drop a like to honor the man who's fighting the hardest battle of his life, alone, in the spotlight he once commanded. The world knew him as John Dutton, the patriarch who would do anything to protect his land, his legacy, his family. For 5 seasons, Kevin Costner embodied that role with such fierce authenticity that Yellowstone became the most watched show on cable television, pulling in over 16 million viewers at its peak. But behind the scenes, paradise was rotting from the inside. Rumors suggest tensions between Costner and creator Taylor Sheridan had been simmering for years, boiling over during season 5 when scheduling conflicts turned into an all-out war. Costner needed time to film Horizon, his lifelong passion project. The Yellowstone production team allegedly refused to accommodate him, demanding he commit to the show's grueling Montana schedule. Reports claim crew members called him difficult. Whispers of diva behavior spread through the set, and cast member Wes Bentley allegedly had a heated confrontation with him over professionalism. But here's where it gets darker. While the media painted Costner as the villain who abandoned his TV family for selfish ambitions, he tells a different story. He claims he was promised flexibility, that the studio agreed to work around his film schedule, and when that promise evaporated, so did his trust. Communication broke down, lawyers stepped in, and suddenly the man who brought dignity and power to John Dutton was being erased. In the most controversial TV decision of the year, Yellowstone's final season opened with John Dutton's character found deceased, an apparent self-inflicted incident that fans immediately rejected. Social media exploded with outrage. Many believed the show disrespected both the character and the actor, turning a beloved patriarch into a plot device for revenge. The move felt personal, petty, and permanently damaged the show's legacy. For Costner, watching his character destroyed off-screen while tabloids blamed him for killing the golden goose must have felt like betrayal wrapped in fire. Yet even as Yellowstone crumbled, Costner was already bleeding from a wound far deeper. Horizon, an American saga, was supposed to be his magnum opus, the 4-part Western epic he'd been dreaming about since 1988. It was going to redefine the genre, tell the untold stories of America's expansion, and cement his legacy as one of cinema's great auteurs. Instead, it became the financial disaster that might destroy him. Against every piece of advice from accountants, managers, and close friends, Costner mortgaged his 10-acre waterfront Santa Barbara estate and poured $38 million of his own money into the first chapter. That's not studio money. That's his children's inheritance, his retirement security, his entire safety net. Production faced brutal challenges, filming in the Utah desert under relentless sun, coordinating hundreds of extras, building authentic period towns from scratch, all while Costner directed, produced, and starred simultaneously. The pressure was inhuman. Crew members described him working 18-hour days, refusing to compromise his vision even as costs spiraled beyond control. When Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 1 finally premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in May 2024, critics gave it a polite standing ovation, but lukewarm reviews. The real devastation came at the box office. Opening weekend brought in just $11 million domestically against a production budget estimated between $100 and $150 million total for all chapters. By the end of its theatrical run, it had barely scraped together $38.7 million worldwide, less than what Costner personally invested. Financial analysts called it a catastrophe. Entertainment insiders whispered that Costner had committed career self-destruction. Chapter 2, originally scheduled for August 2024, was pulled from the release calendar indefinitely. Warner Brothers, the distributor, went silent, and somewhere in Aspen, Kevin Costner sat with the weight of his greatest dream turning into his most expensive nightmare. But the Horizon disaster was only half the storm. While he was fighting to save his film, his marriage was collapsing behind closed doors. In May 2023, Christine Baumgartner, his wife of nearly 2 decades, filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. On the surface, it seemed like another Hollywood split. Beneath it lay something far more painful. Reports suggest Christine had been terrified for years that Kevin's obsession with Horizon would financially ruin their family. She allegedly begged him not to self-finance, pleaded with him to let the project go, warned him he was gambling away their children's future. He refused to listen. Friends close to the couple claim the final breaking point came when Costner chose Horizon over family stability, prioritizing 18-hour days in the desert over being present at home. The divorce turned vicious quickly. Christine's lawyers initially sought $248,000 per month in child support for their 3 children, Caden, Hayes, and Grace. The court eventually ruled $63,000 monthly, but the damage went far beyond money. Under the terms of their prenuptial agreement, Christine was ordered to vacate their stunning Santa Barbara beachfront home, the place where their children grew up, where memories were woven into every room. Neighbors described seeing moving trucks arrive as photographers lurked outside, capturing the disillusion of what once looked like a perfect life. Then came the cruelest twist. Just weeks after the divorce was finalized in early 2024, paparazzi captured photos of Christine walking along the California coast with Josh Connor, a wealthy businessman who had been in Costner's social circle. They shared dinners, charity events, moments of trust. For a man who built his career playing loyal protectors and honorable men, seeing someone he considered a friend now walking beside his ex-wife felt like a betrayal beyond words. Costner remained publicly silent, but those close to him said the images shattered something inside him that all the box office failures couldn't touch. Through all this chaos, one question haunted Costner more than any other. Where was Paramount? Where was the studio that made billions from Yellowstone during the height of the media firestorm, when tabloids painted him as the difficult star who abandoned the show, when rumors spread that he only wanted to film for 1 week, when his reputation was being destroyed in real time? The studio said nothing. In multiple interviews, Costner's frustration was palpable. He mentioned lawyers getting involved, communication breaking down, and his disappointment that nobody from Paramount publicly defended what he actually contributed to the show. The 1-week filming rumor particularly enraged him. He vehemently denied ever making such a demand, explaining he'd always been willing to work but needed the schedule flexibility he'd been promised. Yet the studio allowed the narrative to spiral out of control, protecting their show's reputation while Costner's burned. Industry insiders suggest Paramount chose Taylor Sheridan's side, viewing him as the creator whose vision extended beyond Yellowstone into an entire universe of spin-offs. Costner, despite his star power, became expendable. The silence from the studio wasn't accidental, it was calculated. They let him take the blame, let the public turn against him, and move forward with their franchise as if he'd never been the cornerstone that built it. For an actor who'd given them television's biggest success story, the abandonment cut deeper than any negative review ever could. Now in late 2024, reports from financial insiders paint a terrifying picture of Costner's current reality. Multiple sources claim he's drowning in financial pressure, terrified that Horizon will bleed him completely dry. The Santa Barbara estate he mortgaged is reportedly at risk if he can't generate income quickly. Everyone in his inner circle apparently warned him not to self-finance Horizon.
His accountant allegedly pleaded with him to walk away. Christine's concerns about going broke weren't paranoia. They were based on real numbers, real debt, real consequences. At one point during the promotional tour for Horizon, Costner made a half-joking, half-desperate comment about needing billionaires with boats to help fund the remaining chapters. The audience laughed, but industry observers recognized it for what it was: a man running out of options, trying to keep his dream alive while his financial foundation crumbles. Chapter 2 of Horizon sits finished, edited, ready for release. But Warner Brothers has given no theatrical release date. Without distribution, that film is just expensive data on hard drives. Chapter 3 and 4 exist only as scripts and storyboards. Impossible to produce without massive capital Costner no longer has. The brutal mathematics of his situation are simple. He spent $38 million of his own money on a film that made $38.7 million worldwide. Studios take approximately half of box office gross, meaning the film probably generated around $20 million in actual revenue. Warner Brothers would recoup their distribution costs first. Costner likely saw almost nothing return from theatrical release. His only financial hope was streaming, and while Horizon Chapter 1 did hit Netflix's top 10 for a brief period, streaming residuals are nowhere near enough to cover a $38 million personal investment. Yet here's where Kevin Costner's story takes an unexpected turn. Despite everything, despite the financial disaster, the brutal divorce, the destroyed reputation, the studio betrayal, he refuses to surrender. In interview after interview, his message remains defiant. He believes Horizon will endure, that it will play for the next 50 years, that opening weekend box office doesn't define a film's true value.
He points to films that flopped initially but became classics, argues that great westerns always take time to find their audience, insists that his vision matters more than immediate commercial success. To his children, he said something profound. He wants them to see that their father is a man who does what he believes in, even when afraid, even when facing humiliation, even when the entire world tells him he's wrong. That kind of courage, he believes, is worth more than playing it safe. There's something both admirable and tragic in his stance. On one hand, he's a 70-year-old man who's survived Hollywood's brutal cycles before. Waterworld was mocked as one of the biggest disasters in film history, yet it eventually made its money back and found an audience. The Postman swept the Razzies, destroying his directing credibility, yet he came back stronger with Open Range and eventually Yellowstone. He's proven he knows how to start over, how to rebuild from ruins. On the other hand, this feels different. The previous failures were studio money, not his own. He was younger then, more bankable, with more opportunities ahead. Now he's 70, dealing with the physical toll of decades performing his own stunts, separated from his youngest children who live with their mother, and staring at financial obligations that could haunt him for years. So, what becomes of Kevin Costner? Does this story end with redemption or ruin? The truth is, nobody knows. At 70 years old, he stands at a crossroads that will define how history remembers him. Will he be the stubborn artist who bankrupted himself chasing an impossible dream? Or will Horizon eventually find its audience, prove its worth, and vindicate his faith? The pattern of his entire life suggests he won't go quietly. This is a man who spent 6 years auditioned in obscurity before getting his break, who mortgaged everything to make Dances with Wolves when Hollywood called him crazy, who survived being cut entirely from The Big Chill and having 2 massive flops nearly end his career, who built Yellowstone into a cultural phenomenon at an age when most actors fade into retirement. But patterns don't guarantee outcomes. For every comeback story, there are 10 cautionary tales of artists who pushed too far and lost everything. The westerns Costner loves so much are filled with men who refuse to adapt, who cling to dying ways, who choose principle over survival, and pay the ultimate price. Right now, somewhere between his Aspen Ranch and the editing rooms where Horizon Chapter 2 waits in limbo, Kevin Costner is living that western. He's the lone gunslinger facing impossible odds, the rancher trying to hold on to land everyone says is already lost, the dreamer building something the world insists it doesn't want. His body aches from stunts that should have killed him. His bank accounts bleed from a gamble nobody else would take. His children are split between houses, their family fractured by divorce.
His reputation, once unshakable, now carries whispers of difficult and washed up. Yet every morning, he still wakes up, still believes, still fights. Whether that makes him a hero or a fool depends on how this story ends. And the final chapter hasn't been written yet. Kevin Costner's journey reminds us that greatness and ruin often walk hand in hand, that the same stubbornness that builds empires can also destroy them, that dreams, when pursued without compromise, can cost everything you love. He built a career on playing men of unwavering principle, characters who would rather lose everything than betray what they believe in. Now, at 70, he's living that character for real. No script, no safety net, no guaranteed happy ending. Just a man who bet everything on a dream and is watching the cards fall. If his story moves you, if his refusal to surrender despite impossible odds strikes something deep, honor him with a like. Not because he's winning, but because he's still fighting. Not because the world celebrates him, but because he keeps showing up anyway. Because Kevin Costner's greatest role isn't John Dutton or Elliot Ness or any character Hollywood created. It's himself at 70, financially devastated, personally broken, yet still standing in the Utah desert, whispering, "Keep rolling," when everyone else says cut. That's not just acting. That's the kind of courage that deserves to be remembered, regardless of how this story ends.